leaving the team after this, which will make me sad, but it will not make me surprised.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm doing reverse psychology right now.
Yeah, okay, absolutely, yeah. They're never going to stick together, guys. No, can't happen. But right now, they definitely need to stick together as best they can. For Alpha 7, this next push is do or die. Top 3 on this fight. They've already had a good game, though. Every single team now has had a good game, except for DXavier on the points tally.
Would you call it do or die?
In terms of getting this game, I mean, not for their tournament. Not for their tournament, mate. Just
yeah,
this game.
I mean,
come on.
Look, man, if they do it, they do it. If they die, they die.
I mean, those are the two options. You die, you don't.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, John. Let's see how DXavier handle this, though, because it's a fight on two fronts. And I think that's hard. But any fight that DXavier takes, the other team's going to try and take advantage. This is always the difficulty when you are the central team and it's a little bit open, is that you are always going to incur the wrath of the third party. So DXavier needs to hit a 1-2 punch, but in both directions. They need to hit the 180 on both these squads.
Alpha 7, though, very lacking on utility there, Blank. They may have some smoke launchers, so maybe a little bit more smoke in the back pockets. But DXavier have got quite a lot of utility themselves. It's going to be difficult to roll up onto them. Sure, they need to land this 1-2 punch, but E-Arena are going to be funneled towards them. There's not too many approach routes that they can take where Alpha 7 won't just immediately shred through them, which is going to force DXavier to play a fully linear fight. Sure, they'll be in the middle of the line, but as soon as E-Arena have to shift over to that north side, I think that's going to line them up nicely in nade range, potentially. So out for DXavier.
29 minutes we're coming up on right now. Very long game here for Rondo as well. Right off the wide again, to be honest with you, we always say this is a bit of a springboard, a bit of a trampoline. First game of the day on Rondo. You can get packing quite a few points into your backpack. Get that done early is lovely. 10 nades right now for E-Arena. When are we going to start throwing them?
I think they're waiting for Alpha 7 to move. They're laying up the smoke. They don't want to break north. They're going west instead. But immediately, I mean, that's what I was so worried about. They tried to get the smoke cover there, but it's just not going to happen. Immediately torn apart by Alpha 7. Alpha 7 may choose this to be go time because they know they've done damage. They know they've slowed E-Arena's roll. They won't have the sightlines. Revel looks for the pickup. That could have been the opener. That would have definitely sent them down the hill. But Alpha 7 going to have to play a little bit slower.
Hello.
Xavier needs up top. Oh, so close. Not quite going the distance, though. And Alpha 7 stay as 4.
Honestly, at the moment, E-Arena needs to start taking knocks and pushes. At the moment, they aren't able to get their players back up again. For DXavier, that's bad news. Mafioso going down is lovely. Stealed away by Paragin, though, by no less.
Well, they do need the points. They'll try and take them. 2 players now remaining for E-Arena in the need uphill from DXavier. Carrillo and Revo now the last 2 players are going to be standing up top, but Alpha 7 go down to a volley of fire, and DXavier stand tall. They will survive in the middle. Carrillo the last to go, and the bullets are whizzing over his head. Levi's now spreads on out. E-Arena are not done just yet. Tourniquet still behind. Could cause problems, but with 4 players alive on the DXavier roster, Alpha 7 fall. E-Arena on their knees. DXavier, they kick it off with our first chicken dinner.
Spider Bite at the beginning of the game here, at the beginning of the tournament. Incredible stuff from DXavier. Again, a team that's very controlling when it comes through to those late games. A really outstanding performance. Again, I do think that E-Arena makes a slight mistake there, is that what they should have done is started throwing nades over towards DXavier. You got to hope for that initial knock for then Alpha 7 to try and get some presence in there. I think for them to try and wrap on Alpha 7 was really over-aggressive. I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't think that was the right play, though.
I'll tell you what was the right play. DXavier having a really strong spot in the middle, you know? When all else fails, just get good positions, you know? What can you do? Either way, brilliant kickoff. DXavier with the first chicken dinner. Let's head back to the desk.
DXavier get the chicken dinner right off the rip here, man. They got that center position, and they put it to work, man.
A really good road plateau position. They go there a little bit earlier compared to the rest of the lobby, and you know what? That plateau is great. To the east, it's low ground. To the west, it's high ground. All the teams kind of fighting over the ridge, so they stay alive until the very bitter end of that game. Those smokes, 7. Those smokes to clear their back, make sure E-Arena can't backstab you while you're pushing onto Alpha 7. Now that is perfect usage of smokes in that scenario.
It really is. I'm just impressed with DX timing right here. They waited for the right moment. They saw that they were actually Alpha 7 was taking a fight with E-Arena. Noticed that right away and just moved out. What it looked like to be, honestly, an easy win for DX, they made that win happen at the end.
I mean, Levi's in particular, he's like, oh, I just eliminated all of Alpha 7 with my teammates, but I'm going to use Alpha 7's position as a launching point to eliminate all of E-Arena and secure the game. Every step of that finishing moment here from Xavier was so well executed. The IGLing, amazingly executed.
And something to keep in mind, too, look at the eliminations from this squad. What were we talking about at the beginning of the show? We're talking about some of those squads being able to get high eliminations. For this squad, they were in the position, honestly, that didn't allow them to get those eliminations, Max. They do end up there with just 8.
Unfortunately, the road plateau mid-game, I think you are not able to get involved in those fights because of how the terrain works out. So I'm okay with them getting a low elimination game. They're like, it's all we fight now and maybe go out early, or we get a position that we know we easily make it top 5, maybe even top 3, and we can even compete for that chicken dinner, which in this case it works out. And because they get the win, it kind of offsets the low elimination match here on Rondo.
Yeah, speaking of fight timing, right? Alpha 7. Those guys, I kid you not, they had so many opportunities to take an easy third party, but they just sat so stealthy there, 7 at the start.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about Alpha 7. The first and main one has to be Obscure. Not playing in this round, though. It's actually Mafioso. For most of PMGC League stage, it ended up Mafioso being just the sub. For this first game, Mafioso steps in, and even though he doesn't end up with a lot of eliminations, he was doing everything right that we've seen out of Mafioso, making sure he didn't overextend, making sure he set up those plays for the team. And going back, I want to mention the fight that was happening between RA and Mad Bulls, and then APG third party in that fight. Alpha 7 could have maybe overlooked Max and see if they could maybe get a cheeky elimination. No, they were fully focused on their game, and this is a completely different team for Alpha 7. We're used to seeing that team be a little bit more aggressive, even if it's from far away, trying to get those eliminations.
A Brazilian team not playing aggressive? Excuse me? What's going on? Look, really, they saw that fight you're talking about to the west. You had Mad Bulls, you had RA, you had APG. They're like, it's not really worth it. Let's prioritize position instead. And you know what? That position gets them in the podium position of this match. I love how passive they were, which is weird to say on the Rondo game. I do have to admit that. But I think that in that position with the circle continuously moving away from them, they played it beautifully, and this is the Alpha 7 that can play big aggro high elimination games, also more passive finishes to make sure they have that podium going their way.
And the awareness too, something that they ended up noticing, they were thinking about maybe going for a fight with E-Arena towards the southeast just to clear that south, but they realized that DRX was going to be pushing up, so what did they end up doing? They end up getting their players more towards the north, stopping that push because DRX was coming in hot, and I mean, DRX timing throughout this game was actually quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, DRX had a good timing until the moment where they got a little bit indecisive. They had Goat Team north of them, they had to the east Xavier, and they had Alpha 7 here. Hodrix was looking at DRX like, okay, well, you push Alpha 7. And they kept delaying it so much, in fact, that the Blue Zone became their biggest enemy in this one, which makes you so easy to nade for the entirety of Alpha 7.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful game from them. And you know what? I love the fact that, they were playing it passive, but they weren't afraid to also get into some fights, right? Early on, they caught Flash on that recall, Max, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a very interesting one, able to try and get yourself some early eliminations for Alpha 7. They're like, if there's a solo, possibly a recall strat, let's try and get him before he pulls off the recall, which unfortunately for them did not happen, but still some nice ones coming out their way. Though, I want to pivot the topic here.
Yeah.
Goat Team, Killer Joe on top of that rock pillar.
But
good strat, but underlooted as hell. He had barely any bullets left at the end. He had one grenade. I think even got to the point where he was trying to emergency cover flare players below him.
That was the best.
That does not work out too often. So if you want to send a play up there, 7, just loot the hell out of the early game.
I mean, he was looking at VP, just push up towards his squad, and just with 9 bullets left on the gun, he's just like, do I go for it? I thought he was actually going to end up tapping, at least just cause some damage. Make him back up. No, he just goes, all right,
with
well,
the S2K.
and then he switches to the SOK. Let's see if this will hit. We got a pop from the crowd on that one. They started laughing, but yeah, overall, great positioning, great awareness for Go Team. They did that 3-1 split wonderfully. Something that you ended up mentioning during that match is that they did have that Killer pretty much on the top, letting him play, letting him just scope out everything. The other 3 players towards the north of where Killer Joe was, and just seeing where it was going to be going. But yeah, I'm with you. Just way too underlooted there for Killer Joe.
Oh my gosh, I just love those shots of frustration. You have to at least try one time to see if it hits, right? I love that. But I want to go a little bit earlier into the match, right? We were thinking we were going to have a crazy Neox Factory hot drop, right? And it didn't happen here, 7. Why do you think that was?
I think some of the other teams decided to go elsewhere. We ended up seeing some fighting there from RA, Vampire. That's just something that from Vampire, I mean, even if we take a step back, for Vampire, I feel like the first 3 matches, and let me know if you agree with me on this, Max, I feel like the first 3 matches are going to be a warm-up. This is a squad that's coming in cold. They haven't really played any of the PMGC League stage. They were able to, I think, at least secure a couple eliminations here as we're looking at the match ranking. But overall, surprising RA. And one thing that actually surprised me was we continue to see the aggressiveness. That firepower that we saw out of RA in the Gauntlet is still there. They don't get any placement points, but they end up with 8 eliminations.
Bro, Omori in that fight was clutch, especially with those grenades. He's able to really claim so much space in that particular compound versus the team of Mad Bulls. Even APG, right? They're able to clutch it up almost, but Ziol is able to get the nail in the coffin. Second page of the leaderboards. And yeah, D plus Kia taking an L this game, but not only just taking an L to none other than Regnum Kara. Now that is revenge, and it's beautiful.
Oh, man, I was so sad that we missed that fight, but I get it, right? I mean, Zone 4, that circle shifts up to the north. The Regnum Kara were outside of the circle, but with that hard shift, they go and take that northern position, but they end up with that fight with D+ and end up taking them out.
Actually, it's very interesting because they were both in circle, like, okay, we don't have to fight.
Yep.
But we want to.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really good idea when you think about it, because the circle is not always going to go your way. At least it's very rare to see that happen. So, like, what if we take the 5 versus D+ Kia early, and if we win it, guess what? The chances of us getting third-partied are infinitely low. And in that case, they did not get third-partied until the circle shifted away.
And for Reg, not just that, finishing that fight and then pushing up to Ulf, I think the awareness out of Regnum Kara right there was, okay, more than likely, if we delay this fight, it's going to end up happening at some point. And you were talking about her earlier, Max. Guess what? He ends up securing that MVP. DX Levi's right there. 3 eliminations, 454. It might not seem like match because what I was talking about. That squad was just chilling for the longest time on that road.
Might be the lowest elimination chicken dinner record in the entirety of the grand finals, maybe. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? But they took advantage of it. You know, you don't get those zones pretty often, but when you do, you got to get that chicken dinner. Unfortunately, they weren't able to put up those eliminations, but hey, a great start for them regardless of the situation. Now, I want to talk about a team that didn't really, a little underperformed here on this one, right? And it was Mad Bulls, right? They had that super early crash on the RA. We were looking at it and being like, hey, like, you know you're going to get third-partied, right, in that situation.
They were completely lost because they're like, oh, we're going to crash. And like, what if we send another player to recall to the west? And it was Lemon. They're like, which actually is very weird. You send your best fragger on the team to leave and attempt to recall. For me, you would give that role to someone else, not someone that's been MVP a few times during the league stage. Very surprising to me.
You were talking about their rotation, though. They did end up wrapping north. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was actually a very nice northern rotate. I enjoyed what was happening there from Mad Bulls, but they could have played edge, but Mad Bulls don't strike me as a very edge-focused team. So, like, let's send it onto R8. Then APG were like, we're going to have the final laugh. And in that case, that was what happened for Zion.
It's one of those where they really they couldn't scout that much because of the positioning. But then they got a recall, and then they went back for that spot because they still had some of the players there. I wish they would have been willing to just back up from that fight because, as you mentioned, APG ultimately ended up winning that.
Yeah, though we're talking about all the teams, we barely talked about E-Arena. And we need to talk about E-Arena, right? They had a really good option here to do in that game, and I think they had a really good top 3 finish.
Yeah, beautiful game for E-Arena. I love to see just how Rondo played out here. Definitely didn't like it go as expected, but we definitely see some good teams making some good points there towards the end, right? Now, as we go and look a little bit further down the line, right, we got that southern shift towards the end of the game. Alpha 7 taking out DRX was a really, really good finish from them. But one thing in particular, right, when they had the opportunity to push on the Mad Bulls, right, they didn't do it. And I think that really paid off for them, Big 7.
On Alpha 7, on the way back? Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier in regards to that team, just worrying about their gameplay, worrying about what's going to be happening towards the next later part of the game. And this is why you were so surprised too, Max, because you were saying a Brazilian team not wanting to be aggressive. What's going on here? Now, if we actually switch focus here from the Rondo, I want to go into Erangel because I'm going to be looking at some surprises. We've been talking about hot drops early on. We're talking about maybe Vampire, what's going to be happening with Regnum Kara when we end up going to Miramar. But do we think we might see any hot drops? I can't think of any on the top of my head, Max.
From what I've seen, Erangel should be pretty chill.
Yep.
Right? Shouldn't have like the only thing I'm like questioning is, are we gonna have something on Miramar? But Erangel itself, if a hot drop happens, this is completely unheard of.
Hey, look at this on the screen. No Mafioso currently there sitting down. They're gonna be switching it out. I wonder if that's something that's gonna be working for Alpha 7. In the past, we have seen some of those squads, you know what, utilizing that 5th player to one match. It hasn't worked out wonders in the past. So far, it worked out on that one for Alpha 7, ends up with 9 eliminations, and now they go to Erangel and they go back to their core squad from PMGC League.
I actually like it if you have a four-man that's a map-specific four-man, right?
Yeah.
You're the Rondo specialist, Mafioso. You want to play a different playstyle. Maybe he's the one trying to go for the recall play if that is their strat. So you know what? If it worked out on Rondo, maybe they just keep doing that on Rondo until day 3 of these finals.
I'm just over here giggling because if that's why Mafioso ended up just getting subbed out because they removed Sandhog, maybe that was his map, and now they're like, all right, Mafioso, we're gonna need you to lock in when it comes down to Rondo. That's the case now. Maybe they have that option out there. That'd be insane. I gotta actually go talk to the players at some point and figure that out if that's true.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm so shocked that we're seeing like a player swap this early on, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, one team in particular, right, that we're seeing here for the first time is Vampire, right? How do you feel about that performance in the last game? You know, we saw a hard shift to the northern side, and they looked to kind of go into that route, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out for them.
It was a bit unfortunate because they played the western side of that rock, that stone pillar position that Killer Joe was on, and all these teams are just getting forced away by the blue zone into making a decision. Do you go north? Do you go south? They actually have a really good fight versus Ultra Ego, right? I believe they even get the full squad wipe onto Ultra Ego, which was great to see, but then the entirety of GOAT want to get involved.
Yep.
DRX are holding the southern eastern edge of that rock pillar. So they had no escape route. The only way for them to actually make it out alive of this one would have been to just pick a fight, fully commit to it, but Vampire, I feel like they were already out of resources at that point, so any fight they took, they would have had a significant disadvantage.
If I have to give some props to Vampire, was earlier in that match, they did have a lot of great control towards the southwest of the... If it would have gone their way, maybe we would have seen a little bit more of an aggressive or maybe a little bit more of a subtle Vampire, and that's what I want to see throughout this team, especially for the next 2 matches.
You know what, Vampire in the past, they've been a really strong Erangel team, and Hodrix, that's what's coming up right now.
Well, you know they're excited. The crowd is hyped. Let's get some Erangel action going, guys, as we are now hitting match number 2. Let's go ahead and throw it on over to our casters, Blink and John Allen.
Let's get stuck into Erangel. Blank. A little bit colder of a drop than we were expecting on Rondo, but...
Well, I was kind of right, so...
well, yeah, okay, all right, okay, fine. Than most of us were expecting on Rondo, but let's head over to the grassy pastures with the plane in the skies once more. We are getting ready to rumble. A little bit west on the plane path, but will give a lot of opportunity. We had more than our fair share of military zones during League, during Gauntlet, during Last Chance. I'm expecting, what, 6, 7 military zones this tournament? These finals? Don't look at me like that.
You gotta stop doing that.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're that's actually just killing it. You're beating
That's
it.
the secret. That's what you got to try and do. They'd only stop doing it when you make it uncool. We are going to be heading over
You're
towards
cosplaying
that
a
north
brand
side.
right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Silence, John. I'm a brand social media account right now.
Wow, okay, we're getting a few teams down towards Sosnovka to start things off. Alter Ego. You also have Thunder Talk as well as APG. So APG aren't alone here anymore. A bit of a battle for the vehicles, at least on the northwest side of Sosnovka, whilst we wait for our first circle to come through, which indicates potentially a Sosnovka finish.
Oh, what? No! Oh, he's going for the swings with a knife around the tree. Oh, he's a sitting duck. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get that one. Krypton able to take it down. He nearly got Alva out the buggy.
He did, yeah. He really, really did. That's it. That's terrible news, though. Terrible news for Thunder Talk.
Blank the circle.
I know. I just talked about it. Just then.
I
yeah,
know, I was
definitely, potentially they head down towards Sosnovka now. But sighting going down is terrible news for Thunder Talk. One of their best, if not their best player on the squad there in terms of firepower. Not having him on board is going to hurt the chances for Thunder Talk. They're lucky in the sense that they get down towards what is potentially a Sosnovka finish here early, so they can play this one out. You'd much rather be on Sosnovka as a 3-man than playing over on the north side at the back of the queue in Severny, as we've seen a few times in the past from Thunder Talk as a 4-man. It's a little bit more of a tough rotate to go for. But teams aren't sure. Teams really aren't sure on this type of circle, John. They're undecided whether this is going down towards Sosnovka just yet, so we're waiting for that stage 2. It's going to be a mad dash if it is.
At the moment, I'm seeing it probably be around that sort of 70% probability we're going down to Sosnovka.
Go on, do it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Say 60 to 70%.
No, I wasn't going to say that. You said that. But look, we get the little sub window on as the desk highlighted earlier. Alpha 7 restructuring, but about 70%. That's what I'm. Don't look at me like that. I'll start giggling, and you don't want that. But it's fairly likely, but I would say it may be quite profitable to sit on that north side of the bridge and look for a camp there. Or play a 2-2 split around it. That's a little bit more difficult, though. So for Ulf, I think they have a big opportunity to rack up points. I mean, they could get 6, 7 elims on this position.
Yeah, I think the issue is for Ulf is holding as a 2-man on that northwest side is rough. It's very, very rough where you are in such a skillful lobby that the potential of having those 2 players go down immediately is really, really quite high. And that's what I'm worried about, personally. Thundertalk's still getting chased down right now as Alter Ego look to try and find a shot there, but it is Rosemary. And Rosemary is very split from the rest of the team. I think Rosemary does get overexcited sometimes, but they can't let the tail wag the dog there, which is a lot of times what happens with Rosemary. I don't really like it too much. And the annoying thing is, he finds a lot of success out of those angles. He does find a lot of success. But there is definitely times where we've seen it, and it has been categorically the wrong decision.
Absolutely. I mean, Rosemary is a seasoning, right? It's supposed to go with the rest of the
That's correct.
Of the dish.
That is very correct.
It's not its own main course.
No.
You know? And maybe he needs to learn.
And it never will be. But
stick with the salt, the pepper, and the beef.
It's an elevator, though. It's definitely an elevator of flavor, and that is what Rosemary brings to the table. My concern with what Max was talking about earlier now, because Max, man, said something I definitely disagreed with.
Oh, yeah?
Which is that VPE, quite a good Erangel team in the past, which I would agree with.
Okay.
It's not the same team.
Different team. But hopefully they're rocking the Polar Party Mini 14. You guys can log in to make sure you get your free permanent skin there. So make sure you're heading on over. You saw the little flash up on the left-hand side. And make sure that you're getting that free emote as well. There is plenty of goodies to be had for the duration of these finals. Blank, all the way up until Christmas, you can get that free emote.
Yeah, we ain't messing around. You know, you get your goodies on Christmas Day. If not Christmas Day for you, happy holidays either way, because you are getting yourself some loot here from PUBG Mobile. Overall, though, pretty fun game to start off with over on Rondo. I definitely enjoyed it. I think that talking about how Alpha 7 is shifting Mafioso in for Rondo makes a lot of sense to me, because he is very good when it comes to firepower. And I think on Rondo, you take way more team fights than you do on any other map. And I think that, you know, elevating the chances for Mafioso just to pop off there on Rondo, whilst having that fallback option of like, well, we messed that fight up, but we can recall. We can go again. And there has been multiple moments in the past for Alpha 7 where Mafioso has gone for like 1v3s, 1v4s, and he's looked fantastic. But I do think Obscure is the correct choice to bring back for Erangel. He has a little bit more of a tactical mind to him, as we've seen, and has been a great addition to the squad.
Singing his praises mighty highly.
I think the guy's great. I think he's fantastic.
Well, fair enough. We'll see if he's got the chops for this match, because they're right up on the north side for Alpha 7. Regnum Kaya a little bit further south, but only just. They're out from Pachinki here. Mad Bull's taking shots, but not really connecting. It looks like they are, yeah, they're just going to go and grab that buggy on the way. Oh, no, they can't. Okay, you know, they can't take the time to slow down, get that speed up going, because Mad Bulls are already looking to crest that ridge. And they've got places to be, you know. Ulf, in the meantime, over on that bridge Blank, as I'm taking a look back over towards the map feed, they are still holding this 2-2 split. And I really do hope that they can get points for it, because it is, as you said before, as you highlighted, very risky.
It's a high value play, right? But I don't think the value outweighs the risk on this one, personally. Okay. You know, I mean, I love high value plays. I love it when teams go for them, but this one just feels so dangerous. I really do hate it. 10K getting knocked here out in the blue is unideal. That's from Alpha 7 getting a little bit of revenge from that last match that just came through. So that's 2 knocks, 2 potential finishes coming through for Alpha 7. 2 elims at the start of this game. Very nice.
Yeah, and they're all the way north of the river still, up north of Roshok. Far off into the blue zone as it starts to crunch on through. Sakura being hunted down, pruned from the match. Will not be playing an E-Arena. Nightmare on the start of their game. On their Erangel stretch, it is not going well. Obscure looking to pick up the point onto Tony K, and sure that that one is going to go into the back pocket. Bleeds on out there, and will leave Obscure with the goodies. But they still have to move south blank. They're still very far up to the north.
NC2 have to get squared away here. Down towards the south side, live on as a solo. We'll see how they go about it. For VPE, dropping over towards the coastal side. Able to get one knock here, it'd be fantastic, but can't quite find it, and now reveals the location. That is a nasty circle, man.
Ooh.
God damn. Actually criminal.
Oh, Vampire have got a hovercraft there. Just look at that rotation. They're going to be starting. They've already actually managed to get Lazarus across to the South Island, so they will be able to regroup onto his position if he can hold it. But this is going to be Alpha coming across. They're going to start to move into the west side. Thunder Talk, APG, Alter Ego, all of these teams are going to be there, and they need to move fast. Under pressure from Regnum Kaya. They know how to light up these hovercraft. Are they going to be able to connect enough damage to stop Vampire getting across? I don't think so.
Definitely some long shots, but what we do know is that hovercraft is probably not carrying on too much longer in this game. Nate T slams straight into a vehicle, gives more opportunities for those shots to go through. This is where Ulf can start to find that value. The DP on the sidelines looks for the shots, won't quite line it up though.
Ooh, Levi's getting through, but will the rest of his team be so lucky? Because they're already sending on in a lot of damage done. And DXavier, they're allowed entry.
Hello?
They're allowed to go through. Scarface, where are you? You need those shots to land.
Oh my god, Ulf, pick up the phone, the walkie-talkie. It is blaring off in the distance. Finally, they get one off the back of it, but they could have had so much more. Very much disjointed there coming through from Ulf. A little bit of hesitation there coming through on the bridge, and now Marceau jumps into the hovercraft to keep himself alive.
Nimble. Vicious, hopefully. It's Team Flash, this is on the east bridge.
Lovely
We hop very
shot.
quickly to the other side of the island. A lovely little shutdown and the roll down from Poser to follow it up. And Team Flash having a little bit of trouble here. Kara giving them a run for their money. Coming in through last chance. Team Flash still have a lot to prove, but to be honest, there's really no stakes for them at the moment. Anything that they achieve here is already a phenomenal result for them. See how far they can go. Back over to the north of the west bridge as DRX are holding the longhouse.
Okay, some clean shots, man. Some very clean shots. Some insanely clean shots. That is squeaky. Flip up topside now, but will not be able to get his teammates back up again. Hyunbin looking mighty fine with that Abacam.
Very nice, very nice. But they are still north of that river, still north of that bridge, and that makes things so tough moving into the next circles here. Towards the center, you've got APG who hold the hill to the west of Sosnovka. I'm looking at Vampire as well, further out on that, getting all four of their players across.
Yeah, I think for Regnum Kaya, there's like this weird moment for them right now where VPE leaves that glider behind, and it's a tantalizing prospect for Regnum Kaya. But also, why did VPE leave that for us? Why would Vampires let us fly if not to take us down? This is a circle you do not see very often, and to see it here at PMGC 2025 Grand Finals is a real treat. We could be ending up over towards the bridge. Nobody enjoys that circle.
I'm so sorry for talking about military circles at the start of the match, Blank. I am really I am so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I feel like, you know, I'm sorry to DRX right now on the north side. I'm sorry to Regnum Kaya. Sorry to Team Flash. You know, it's just ruined their day, really. Kicking things off, it has been a trudge through the mud to move on down towards this south side, and it is not going to get easier. All for getting squeezed. DRX going to be able to get across this bridge? I think they are, because Scarface really wasn't holding it.
Well, DRX already had the anchor, right? They already set up. Scarface being down there has opened the gates for them. From DRX, he was the only player playing around the bridge. So for DRX, has been a really, really good approach for them, finding Scarface, who had been a little bit lackluster on that angle, honestly.
Whoa.
Does let him across tops. It's not, come on. We're not doing another solo game. That's enough.
That's bad. But, ooh, an answer. Okay, from up top, Aaron able to find one of DRX, and Tops laid out the bait for Ulf, and they were able to do well off it, get that point back under control, and actually may be able to achieve getting towards
Okay.
Scarface. But Ketch is going for it. QXZ on the underside does know that there's a player now pushing. But does Ketch know? They know they're playing the box.
Thundertalk getting absolutely shredded by multiple teams as they attempted to strong arm some position away from some of the squads there around Ulf, around APG. Might even get the res onto Scarface, which I'll be very surprised about.
Ketch, he's back up the stairs. He's back up the stairs, Ketch. Okay, there you go. He's found his teammate. Back on for the res. Thundertalk, they're trying to take the other face of Ulf, and it's not going to work because Eren slides straight on into the courtyard, and Thundertalk, they're looking dizzy right now. That was a knockout punch and a half.
Yeah, they got crunched between Ulf as well as APG. Trying to take that position. It was very aggressive from Thundertalk, which I like. I do like, but that felt it needed to have a little bit more oomph. I mean, the idea was there, right? Execution just a little bit poor on that side of things. DRX is kind of concerned with how this all went down. They got all their players across. They got the initial knock, and then Kaiksei just revealed himself for too long. They knew the angles from Ulf as well, so for me that was a little bit of a mistake there from Kaiksei.
Potential misstep. Getting a little bit too bold with things. I'm looking at the middle of the circle, Blank. I'm seeing DXavier pretty close to it. They are maybe on for a nice little conversion match. Alter Ego just to their south. Playing very, very middle. Ulf on a 3-1, trying to flex between 2-2, but the spray downs for Marceau over towards Alpha 7, who finally made an appearance on the east side of the circle, but it's going back and forth here. Both teams extracting a little bit of damage, dealing a little bit. But it seems like Kara are more likely to be able to get their players back up. Guizhou now on the east side, trying to stay alive for Alpha 7. Meanwhile, Mad Bulls, one player,
Hello.
Okay. Secret agent Cody Banks here. Flip, he's been seen. He's not moving. His first step's going to be there. It's Regnum Kaya ruin it.
That's so annoying.
And D plus Kia might think that they're taking shots at them. He's down. Okay, they're out. That is so fortunate for D plus Kia that they didn't lose a player to that.
Well done, Regnum Kaya. You just helped out the guys that took you down in the last PMGC.
Oh, that's friendly.
I think that they would have not done that had they known who Flip was guarding out there.
Oh, well.
I think they would have absolutely let Flip fly from that position. Now, this game really isn't PUBG Mobile anymore. It's DX saved by the zone once again.
Okay, all right. Fair enough, right now they are slap bang in the middle again. Ulf really with a large amount of the north side, but we're on board with this fight. A rematch from the PMGC back in London. 2024, Regnum Kaya looking for D plus Kia. 2 previous title winners going toe-to-toe, but Silas is out of it, so no longer. He's not going to be playing on that match. Not anymore. And they have the blue zone pushing them in too. R8, they've made it across, flexing all the way to the east side. We'll see how much further they can go. Zedwolf? Oh, what? He's still all the way towards Ferry Pier.
Yeah, hadn't quite made it across yet.
Okay.
Hadn't quite made it across. Great nade from Loxy over towards Favian, but there is a nade coming over the top there. We'll get the air burst, but mostly damage over towards Wild, honestly. Some points is better than no points. At the end of the day, we get to stage 4, and this is going to start to hurt.
Going for the run. Zedwolf, yeah, just going completely down there. Not great. Wild now with a challenge and steps out for it. Good peek there of 2-player peek onto the angle, and Chips gets dunked. Unfortunately, though, there is an immediate response, and D plus Kia, while still on 2 players, will be able to flex out for it. Lit up from the sidelines, though, as DRX turn their attention back out to the bridge. The arena have been eliminated. We are all the way to the south. We're all the way to the northeast. We're going everywhere, Blank. We're checking out all the angles. Zara, they've made their way in on a late rotation east.
Right behind Kara right now. Kara a little bit of a dangerous team, but at the moment, R8 sort of has their number a little bit. For Ulf, I am amazed at their resilience, right? It is very impressive that they're able to slowly work their way back into a position that is holdable, that is playable. Very, very impressive stuff from Ulf here. Feels much more like the Ulf that we saw in PMSL EU, who was just so dominant. Had a little bit of a fall off going in towards PMGC, where there was plays, times we thought that they could go so much further, but it's just not the case.
This is their last chance to try and make that the case in this year. during this tournament. APG playing on the south side, a little bit close to the edge here. Goat team behind them. I don't think Goat team are making it out of this one. Zone goes south. Ooh, keeps APG in this one. And the DXAV compound. Don't worry, you know, they're still inside the circle with a shift. It's fine, it's fine.
I think it's most unfortunate for Kara, who just about get themselves towards this spot, and now moving across the roadside is really hard. Getting over towards the west, John. DXAV will absolutely hold Kara out as much as possible. And for R8, who moved in slightly later, just were able to get a much better deal out of this one, right? They squeezed a negotiation out of Kara, and they got the better end of the deal. Absolutely. Down towards this south side. Flash is in this area, but they're only playing with one player, still trying to hold on as best he can to this map.
I mean, placement points, every single point helps, right? That's why we saw the denial of points there from GOAT. They know you don't give points away for free. You're very much not getting out of that one. You just hide away, you wait for the blue zone to do its job. Take those points out of the running. In the meantime, though, on the north side of this, Kara, with the road crossing, under pressure, off angles, multiple off angles here from R8 down the road. Teams up the top as well, as Ulf still trying to hold their ground. Vampire slowly marched in from that south side, again in the hovercraft, but this time it's on fire. Ketch starting to take the rest of its health bar. The spray down answer is good from Lazarus. Backs him off a little bit, but Aaron now trying to divert attention his way. Doesn't quite get the damage on, and Lazarus stays alive, but for how much longer? Dodges just about in time.
Aaron is crazy, man. That's relying on the mag being empty. I'm telling you, that's relying on the mag being empty there. Get himself across. Ulf is taking a lot of fights at the moment. Up to 8 elims on the game. It is a real big one. Solus is DC'd.
Oh no. That is bad news on the northern side. He is having a bit of a nightmare there, and it's not likely he's going to be back into this game, and with Aaron going down, that's going to leave them as 2. Scarface and Ketch going to be playing on now. Solus, yeah, he gets knocked there. Should be flushed away by DRX.
That is so unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate, especially in their position. They needed everyone at full force, but they still have 2. They still have Scarface and Ketch, and hopefully Scarface can pick it back up. A little bit lax on the bridge hold, but as you said before, they've got 8 elims already on this match. More than could be said for most of our other teams. It was fairly flat on the points distribution over on Rondo, so that has helped them mightily in their points standings. Teams are going to try and pressure them out now, though, as DRX want a tad of revenge on this northern side.
Just a little bit. Would be fantastic. For VPE, 3 players still alive here. Trying to get back into the mix of it, but Ulf is holding. Onside, Scarface looks to find more, but VPE will get the job done. 2 players down. DRX don't make the distance either. And Olorigo, we're all to play for at the moment on that northeast side, but can't count out APG on the high ground. Can't count out R8 in the wings.
Waiting for their moment to pounce, waiting for their moment to strike. Ulf, as you said before, they are down on this match. APG looking to try and push up the hill, push a little bit closer. Kara still corralled into the corner compound there. No off angles really, as R8 start to look to cross as well. It's going to be difficult for Win to do anything about, and will go down. Eliminated, only the 1 point, and Team Flash not off to the best of starts. My hopes, but still plenty more games to play. APG lighting up R8 on the crossing. Marth going down, going low, and there's an answer immediately up there, but the flush has already gone through, and R8 a little bit too late to try and save Marth on that fight. Kara probably not so lucky here. DXavier cooking some nades. They are only playing as 3 though, and that may be just about enough.
I mean, the hovercraft is the defense you need here, but they've left it so long to make this cross. And again, like I said before, this cross is disgustingly hard to make. Love this flex out coming through from Alva though. This is really nice, actually. Looking towards buildings that he knows he can guard.
This is only possible because R8 crossed over when they did, right? He can't take that angle if R8 still hold further out on the east. It's just not going to be possible, and the reses were going through there already. Nox and flushes immediately. Snape on the high ground is on the hunt for DXavier. They are trying to take this one down. The team at the top of the tables, even if you get the circle shift, Alter Ego, they're going to still try and challenge you out. But R8, this lineup on the roadside blank, it is back and forth.
Yeah, Snape kept trying to re-peek on that one, but it was a good shot back coming through from R8 there. Keeps them at bay for the time being after they rolled out on that south side. VPE, Meowlag, Tony K, Lazarus. 3 players from VPE still trying to make it work on this western side, who've done very similar things to Ulf with some great resilience on a pretty open area. But APG not finding the amount of success they might have liked here on this game from the high ground.
5 elims, still a springboard to have a solid result here versus Vampire. Three players up the top. Doc on a wide off angle here, overlooking R8 right now, gathering intel. Can't really go for the peak. And actually, Alpha Gaming regrouping south. A response to R8 who are flexing out. They saw this one coming from a mile off, and Amori and Ida 7 have to back off. They can't go for the rollout straight over the top, but Vampire might be able to backfill this. Take a lot of pressure on that northwestern side. R8 really looking for something, but not really getting too much. Back they go.
Just need to find one there. If they can take down Ida, it makes it a much easier team to handle, and that's exactly what they do. Very smart from APG there. You take shots over towards that north side. What's going to happen? The team on the south is going to try and wrap on that hilltop and get a bit of a better position to play. So it was a lovely decision from APG to make that move.
DXavia's in the circle. Don't worry. We're totally fine. We thought maybe not, but no. They get the north side of the compound. Up on that north edge. They are going to have a good time on this one. Likely a 3rd place, guaranteed here for DXavia. And for Alter Ego, I think this could be a chicken dinner spot.
It could be. I think the only thing for Alter Ego right now is that, yes, they hold this position, but they are on the low ground. Technically, VPE or APG could hold them out from the hilltop on that northwest side. It depends how quickly they're forced out into open ground.
The fight on this north side. Really going to decide who's going to be up to bat against Alter Ego, as you said, to try and shut them out here. R8, a little bit diminished after their chaotic flex out. We'll put it that way, after a good response from APG, and likely that they're going to be going down as well. APG really reluctant to take the fight on the northern side. It looks like they might be trying to roll down the hill here towards R8. Put more pressure on. Could be just trying to clear their back.
Yeah, you've got to clear the mosquitoes, man. It's going to be very hard to take a fight with VPE properly, with Amori as well as Prestige. I mean, Amori's going to hit those shots. That's an undeniable fact. This guy's a very good player. If you give him opportunity, he will cause problems for you. Prestige makes the rollout, and there's the shot, as I was talking about it.
Oh, okay, Reefus does hold his nerve against it, but Amori is still there, into the buggy. Reefus actually turning around, leaving all the work up to top. Amori dodges back behind the tree trunk, and top not quite connecting, gets a little bit done, and there's the off angle. Okay, R8 will be going down as Zjol steps into the fight. APG a little bit slow now, but they have to march forwards, and they will be able to do so fairly uncontested. With R8 gone, that gives them a lot of latitude out to the east.
Oh my god, the Doc babysitter, he is back. It's top on the menu. Love to see it. Get your boy back up in a position. 80 limbs on the game. Great start for them. 4-way fight coming to you. Alter Ego, APG, DXavia, and VPE here. APG being the only other team with an Alter Ego with all 4 players up and kicking.
Ooh, a nasty south shift comes towards the roadside with the middle. DXavia cut out by this one. Alter Ego, they have got a forward position inside, so we'll see if they can hold their spots there, if they're going to want to try and flex out, get rid of DXavia, push out to that west edge. Vampire. I mean, they have a sliver of terrain to be working with, and they are angling straight towards APG.
Yeah, VPE, they've got to come out. Right, the Vampires will have to approach the sun here on the north side, and Alpha Gaming, they've got a great lineup on this one. Reefus is definitely keeping eyes on over towards the eastern side. Top, though, does find Tony K, and that is the outpost. Very unlikely the Vampire is going to pick him back up again. At distance, this guy is lethal. Only 41 bullets, roughly, to get this done. A little bit hard.
APG being able to flex out to the east side is pretty huge on this circle flank. The fight with DXavier and Alter Ego, that can play a 2v4, see what they can do, but Vampire really struggling now. Have a very, very difficult time. See, Lazarus has managed to do 600 damage off the back of it, though, and the nades pouring on forwards. Lambert is very, very low, and Alter Ego want to lay more down, want to layer this one through. As another knock comes through for top. Nades land, DXavier burning. No circle, no luck. Levi's left alone. A lone ranger, and I don't think he's getting too much further.
Reefus, staying towards the top side of the building, could have been deadly. But now Alter Ego have got to move. APG, they've got the setup. Zhol's moving around the side. The smoke does deny the sight line from him too, which is a bit awkward for them. They're starting to pour these nades in over towards Alter Ego. They're locked into the building. Zhol's angle has to be concrete here for them. He's got to be rock solid on that side of things. He can't peek unless the team is taking shots alongside with him, because if he goes down, their win potential goes down by a heck of a lot.
Alva first to go down, and that is a brilliant pickup from Doc. 3 versus 4 now. Reefus moving in. He's only got 1 nade, and he's looking for Rosemary. Let's see if he's going to be able to burn this one out. Looks good on the Cook. The nade is there, and the follow-up from Doc as well from the high ground is huge. And another as well to get the re-knock. Snape is there. It's just Krypton now remaining, and APG have this match in a chokehold. A little bit clumsy on Rondo, but not so here. They still have 1 more player to handle, and it might get messy. Krypton's still giving it a good go, but top for the spray down. In 1v3, you still got to question it, and it will be APG from the high ground. A brilliant bounce back from their Rondo onto the first Erangel.
Yeah, it's a painful elastic snap down towards R8 as well. Such good game sense from this squad jump.
Brilliant, brilliant shutdown. Getting rid of R8, as you say, moving out to that east side, leveraging their ridgeline perfectly. Alter Ego couldn't get out. DXavier pushed to the backside. They will not be able to get past that high ground position. APG close it down. Nice flex out, nice responses, good calls, a cohesive unit, and that is what you need to see from APG.
With DXavier as well towards the center zone. I mean, they got themselves some more points, but can they keep this up? Considering the circle's not always going to be on your side. And even there, they weren't able to get themselves the chicken dinner. It all comes down to the gun skill at the end of it. Alter Ego looking fantastic, but it's APG with the win.
Alpha Gaming get the first chicken dinner in Erangel, and they do it in beautiful fashion. 7, their positioning was just so on point this match.
The positioning from this squad is really what was impressive and what allowed them to get this win. For the longest time, we have been saying, Doc, please don't be alone. Doc, please stay with your team. This time, guess what? It was actually due to Doc being away from the squad. They were just working on 3-1 splits, Max. They were working on 2-2 splits, with Doc actually being the passive player and having the rest of the 3 players just scout around. I mean, they were scouting a fight between all of them. They were scouting a fight between Vampire Esports, just collecting data and not overcommitting, not making sure that if one of them got knocked, get that revive as soon as possible.
They were docketing, but together.
Yes.
And that's the way.
And even then, he was able to get 5 eliminations.
Oh my goodness, 5 elims on that game. I mean, they've already won a game during CSA, right, in this exact area before. They know how to play those games, and they played it exceptionally well. Not getting involved on the bridge situation because, you know what, it's a bit messy. Play the southern western hilltop compound. They played it beautifully. The timing was great. Reefus' off angles too, 7.
Yes.
That was really impactful and not overcommitting in that game.
And even before that fight, keeping an eye on R8. We've seen R8, by the way.
Yes.
We gotta talk about R8 in a bit, but for that squad, just making sure that they control all of the eastern side in regards to those teams that we're going to be pushing up. With APG, they had full control of the south, start spreading out, and the ridge, especially at the end. I feel like that's what ended up winning them this match.
And I like they don't commit to the fight with Alter Ego and Xavier. I was like, you could third party it, but don't commit too hard because otherwise you're giving control over to Vampire and they're going to be fully pushing you. But they didn't have cars. They're like, okay, Vampire, no way for you to leave. Let's eliminate Vampire first. And then we can put 100% of our undivided attention onto Alter Ego to make sure we get the win.
And this is something that I want to end up pointing out. Alpha 7 against E-Arena, once again on their rotation. Two teams that were rotating late. Alpha 7 making sure that they ended up hunting down not just 2 players of E-Arena, 3 players of E-Arena.
Man, so crazy. You know what? I gotta talk about this though, right? This bridge finish, right? How did Xavier get across that bridge so unscathed?
I don't know. They just gave a free pass over to Xavier. DRX did not even take a single shot, if I'm not mistaken. Like, just go. Make it across. Welcome to military. And they even almost lost a few players over to the side of, they didn't lose one. They instantly take that road trifecta compound, and that was what allowed them to make it so far in this match. So Xavier, they were given an opportunity out of nowhere, and they made it work heavily in that game in their favor.
Yeah, and for Xavier, something you and I were talking about during the match as well was the way that they were able to just become roommates in a way with Alter Ego. Not having to fight each other. They're like, we only got 3 players. We really don't have to push anything. And at the end, it's what ended up hindering them because they didn't get favored by that circle.
Yeah, it didn't work out for them. But actually, back to your point about working together, being neighbors in that compound, there was Kara pushing in, like, let's eliminate Kara, and then we can fight each other as we go over the rotations here. And you know what? They drop a military. APG, Alter Ego, both able to make in first and second place respectively. The circle, very kind to these 2 squads.
And for Alter Ego, right off the bat, they ended up getting one of the players from Thunder Talk, which was none other than C-Team. But yeah, you're pointing right now at what's happening there within that Western Bridge. All deciding to do that 2-2 split. At one point, you were thinking it was too aggressive.
It was a little bit too aggressive. You know what? They did have the 4 players being able to make it back to the southern edge. So you know what? I was scared they were going to be completely thrown out of this match early on because it was weakening their position. But the timing actually of that regroup on the southern edge, really well executed. But here you go, looking at this position. The hilltop compound from APG.
Right
the
there.
3-1 split here, 7. Getting the information while getting involved with 3 players in those fights against VPE, Ulf, and DRX. Beautiful.
I absolutely love that graphic. I love the 2-2 split that they did there towards the end as well, making sure that they sent CL to the other side. 25 points for APG after this match. I know APG fans out there are going to be very happy because the docketing was happening, but to their favor.
Oh, that was looking good. You know what? I was wondering, going into the finals, are we going to get Gauntlet Alpha Gaming? Are we going to get Group Green Alpha Gaming? This is Group Green Alpha Gaming, and I am loving it. Keep it up, boys.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Gauntlet, right? Ulf in particular, right? How do you feel that they performed here compared to their Gauntlet?
I think that that bridge camp on the southern edge should have been maybe a little bit tighter, you know, on the hold, not allowing too many teams to push on by. Like Xavier, they got 1. I was like, you should at least get 2, if not maybe 3 on that spray down. But Ulf, at least they have been compared to their Gauntlet, where they started very slow, very passive, stepped up their aggression in the games, and they maintained that going into the finals here, Hodrick. So Ulf, they've learned from their mistakes, and now they're improving significantly and are doing so well already on that first Erangel match.
And as we're looking at the match ranking here, one thing that I got to call out in a way has to be Regnum. They were just so passive for the longest time on Ferry Pier. They were trying to get information on some of the other teams that, I mean, I think we saw them eliminate the last player from Mad Bulls, which was Flip, just being the last one alive, not taking shots onto D+. But it seemed just way too passive for Regnum. I wanted to see a little bit more proactiveness out of them, pushing it to the top, pushing them to against D+, I think it was. But yeah, no surprise here. Max?
Yeah. Do you know what that means, though? If Doc is MVP of the Grand Finals, APG can't win. Those be the rules.
Unless.
We did not write them.
Unless. I've been saying that for the longest time. Unless we see this type of APG. That was a completely different type of APG that we've seen from the past. Making sure that Doc, whenever he's by himself, just be passive. Don't overextend. Don't overpush anything. Don't overfight anything. And with that win, guess what? APG is currently sitting in first place.
Ooh, what a way to make up for that rondo. My question is really this, though. If Doc does become MVP, do you think he'll actually crack a smile behind that Porsche Carrera?
Impossible.
Impossible.
I remember when Barney gave the trophy for PMWC, he's like, cool. Another day in the office for Doc, and he's looking really strong. But yeah, APG in first place, 30 points. You know what? I don't want to make them too confident, so APG, you're bad, okay? No, I don't want to get them too confident going into this.
You don't talk about APG, I'll stick with APG. Any of this squads right here. I mean, Alter Ego, I was mentioning in regards to the fight that they had there against CAT and the rest of the squad. But yeah, no surprise there. Doc, Top, Seal, and Krypton, which has been, honestly, an outstanding performance for Alter Ego, considering that usually we end up seeing Rosemary.
Normally it's Rosemary, a.k.a. Rose Carry, going into the games when it comes to SCA players in particular for Alter Ego. But yeah, Krypton really rising up the ranks heavily, very quickly during the league stage of this year's PMGC. And also Snape, he's not on this graphic, but I'm telling you, Snape had some really good knocks instantly pivoting into a flush.
Yes.
He's very accurate with those mid to long range sprays. So the entire squad has been very impressive, but so has Alva, that maybe is not a frag on the team, but the positions he secured for his squad, we saw that during PMWC right 7, and he's been doing it once more at PMGC.
That's something that we saw especially out of Alter Ego when we came down to last chance, was their positioning towards the center of the circle, making sure that they kept working on that. Right now, it's working out wonders, and they're being aggressive. I mean, you see Krypton collecting 3 eliminations. I want to see this team, if they do find themselves in good positioning, I want them to be even more proactive.
This is taking me back to Bigatron. Golden Arrowvine.
Oh! Talk about a throwback!
Oh. Hey, maybe, right now, the way Alter Ego playing the full squad is putting up numbers. I'm loving it. Hot Jukes, SCA, maybe looking to take the trophy. I know it's match 2, okay? I'm going to calm down a little bit. But I'm very excited for Alter Ego.
Dude, I mean, this is so crazy, man. We see, we saw Xavier get some good, solid positions back-to-back. They put some points on the board here. Well, we're seeing an alpha gaming I think we have been waiting for. I love to see how these squads have just been leveling up, right? Every single stage that we get. And we see some new strategies, right? One thing that we did notice, right, was the hovercraft play, right? That got denied pretty fast, Max.
I remember when hovercraft started being meta, it's like, there's a hovercraft, run! Now you see hovercraft, you spray it twice, it's gone, and it works out against VP, unfortunately.
I mean, for VP, for Vampire, that's what ended up working for them. Whenever they make that push towards military, the 3-1 split that they were working as well, early on, they ended up sending, I think it was Lazarus, and then they realized, you know what, stage 2, let's just commit to it. Everybody knew that it was going to end up going there towards the military, and it ended up working out for this squad. I mentioned, for Vampire Esports, I wanted to see what they could do here within the first 3 matches. Right now, to be completely honest, I'm quite impressed for a squad that didn't play any of League.
Yeah, historically a good team on Orango. Looking at Blank over there. I think he was thinking I was talking about PMWI and I was talking about PMSL SCA, which using the word historically, maybe shouldn't have done that. But anyways, looking good on that rotation path with Lazarus, as you already mentioned here, 7. And yeah, very hyped to see if they can keep it up going into the next matches. Even if we do not have a military island, can they do it again?
Ooh, that's the question.
Yeah, because they, Primorsk, they love it. It's a really good rotation path. If it goes mainland, can we see the same results?
If they continue to do kind of those scouting reports with Lazarus too, making sure that they send him up and he doesn't end up getting eliminated, I can see them continuing to improve.
Yeah, it's so wild. I mean, it was crazy watching that rotation from them, and even Regnum Karya, the second they saw that hovercraft from downtown, it was wild. But you know what? Let's look a little bit further down the leaderboard, 7, right? Which teams do you feel are like pretty much underperforming so far?
Right now, the first team that I'm going to be looking at is that team in 16th place. None other than Flash, and it comes down, this is a squad. Remember, everybody currently watching at home, it is their first time at PMGC, meaning that now that we're in the grand finals, it's their first time in grand finals. They're nervous. I mean, a lot of stuff is going to be happening. A lot of the squads that have been here in the past are currently playing in their A game. We just saw what APG was able to do. Even though Regnum is currently not there towards the top, we know that they're going to be able to bounce back too. For Team Flash, I want to continue to see what this squad was able to do towards last chance as well. And I'm not talking about top surviving. I just want to see them being able to frag out.
You called me before my joke. I was going to say they didn't have a drop crate in the middle of the map to survive behind. But yeah, they are still the rookie team, so I feel like there's not many big expectations for them. So this is a team that I think might start slow and ramp things up just like Ulf during the Gauntlet stage, right? So I think that they're going to start slow, and maybe as they feel more confident moving forward, and maybe circles are a little bit more favorable for them, and their drop location, which is not near where this game went, we could expect Flash to at least get towards the middle of the pack. I would be happy with a mid-pack result from this team because, again, first time at PMGC, that would be a great achievement.
I agree. I think these zones were so brutal to them. It definitely didn't help do them any favors. Hopefully they do get that one good game to really get things going. And one team, though, right, I really want to talk about. I know, 7, you were really impressed with in that last one, was R8.
That's right, R8, the way that they were able to make that push on Kara was impressive. Alpha 7, at one point, they were doing it. It seemed like they were going to end up surprising Kara. That was not the case. They ended up overcommitting. For R8, one thing that you really mentioned to me, Max, is they played that so well.
They really played it beautifully on the eastern side. They're like, okay, we're going to scout. We see that there's actually Kara in this 2-2 split, so they're in a weakened state. You know what? We scouted it. Let's send it on that 2-2 split, eliminate some players of Kara, and that's going to be able to carve a low ball position on the east for themselves. And they even go for Southern Compound after that. the scouting to be able to pull off a late rotation on the east like that was really well executed. Unlike Alpha 7, they went in fully blind into Kara, and as we saw there, unfortunately 7, it did not work out for the Brazilian team.
To be fair, to give some props there to Alpha 7, Gisao, they had a good angle that didn't end up working out for them, but it's good to see them trying to set up that play. It was just way too late of a push for this squad. They were already fighting, remember, earlier with the arena. They were trying to hunt down stuff. No scouting. This didn't end up working out there for Alpha 7. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing out of R8, that they're continuing to be aggressive and continuing to be smart in regards to some fights that we're seeing out of them.
Yeah, in particular Omori, right? Like, I know we set him up as like the guy from the league stage doing so well for R8, especially when you have storied players like Prestige and Ida.
Yeah.
This newcomer player from Omori is doing so much heavy lifting for this squad. And you know what? I kind of want to see everyone level up with Omori at this point, which is it's surprising for me to say. But R8 from Mina, nobody expected them to win the Gauntlet stage, Hot Jukes.
Yep.
Right now, already a hot start. Loving it.
Making it happen. Making it happen off the rip here. We love to be able to see that. I mean, to be able to get a good game here off the rip is going to do just wonders for their confidence, right? Going into the next Erangel, though, Max, right? Which team that you really feel you need to see a big push for in this match? I know it's still early, right? But
look, DRX, a bit indecisive in my opinion sometimes. You have a very clear fight and opportunity in front of you, especially on the Rondo, but even in this game you could somewhat say that about DRX. And they keep delaying, and the blue becomes their biggest issue in that match. I feel like Erangel has been one of their best battlegrounds previously. I want to see that era of glory of DRX back to Korea. Let's go!
I mean, for DRX, you saw that perfectly when it came down to what was that? What was that team that was just making a full push? Oh yeah, that's right, DX. We thought that they were going to be able to get some shots. We thought they were going to get knocks. They said no, thank you. We'll let you slide by.
Please enter.
Yeah.
Unreal, unreal. You know what? We're getting into the next match of Erangel, match number 3. Will DRX finally put up some big numbers here in this one? John Allen, Blake, what do you guys think?
I mean, what do we think? Well, I don't know what you think, but I think if you're going to put up points, better start now, really. You know, crack on. Days are wasted. We're on to match 3. We're already over the grassy pastures once again. Lovely look at the marble plain. Not sure if, well, it's probably not actually made of marble blank, but it certainly looks like it.
Yeah, it does certainly look like it. Probably pretty heavy. If it was marble, might not fly at all.
But we can pretend.
Well, we can pretend. We can be real imaginers here. Over
That's my new team name.
PMGC, the real imaginers.
Yeah, we never win, but we just imagine we do.
TRI.
Yeah.
All right. Going back to the DRS then, but we've got a whole new outlook on life here. But for some of these teams, it really is a lot of their lives on the line here, or at least life-changing money. Because that is an incredible prize pool towards the top of the table, right? And it has changed multiple lives in the past. APG, they are the sole contenders down towards Sosnovka here to start things off. Ulf starting over towards Ferry Pier as well. Did feel a little bit bad for Ulf on that last game for reasons. If you watched it, you'll know.
Yeah.
But I think that genuinely Ulf had to be proud of themselves there. I think they did fantastically well from that position. But we do get a northeastern circle jump.
Yeah, it's not going to be another military. I wasn't going to mention it. I promise you. If you'd have stopped talking, I definitely wasn't going to bring up that we could.
I waited for the circle to pop.
I know you
wasn't
did.
Gonna give it to
I
you.
know you did. You were responsible. You're a responsible mic owner. I'm not necessarily. But yeah, no, we're not going down to the military island. We've already had one, so we'll definitely not have any more again for the rest of the tournament. He said with full confidence. I was looking out towards Kara as well as Thunder Talk, who we saw have a little bit of a scrap in the last match. This time a little bit more civil over towards Milta. Nobody got to be slashing tires on the buggies with the knife, even if you do connect a little bit with Alva. No, won't lose sighting just this time. Oh, a sub coming on through for E-Arena. Mormon in, Sakura out.
Interesting. Now, I feel like Sakura is a very good player on the side of E-Arena, but sub him out. Maybe he's not feeling great. Maybe it's just time to make a change here for E-Arena. I get back on the bike. And I mean, I don't think they're doing terribly right now. 13 points is certainly not shabby. And I think for the first 6 matches of any sprint here in a grand finals, it's always tough because the points haven't really evened out yet. It is going to be those teams that get the chicken dinners. It is going to be those teams with the big elim games that are going to be up towards that top side. I mean, for APG, getting a 15 elim match is ginormous, and they just need to really keep things up now, right? And I think for APG, that last game was lovely, really lovely to watch. We do need to consider the fact that they started on Sosnovka, though.
Yeah, we have seen both APGs in the first 2 matches as well, which is what's confusing, right? We've seen Gauntlet APG, we've seen Group Stage APG. Which is it going to be continuing forwards? The fact that they can do both on the same day, though,
that is
a new development.
Yeah.
So it's a real interesting roller coaster that you're on if you're an APG fan, or if you're a fan of someone who's fighting against APG.
The personalities are emerging at the moment.
Oh dear.
Making themselves known.
A dangerous crossing though for APG, probably fairly soon. Although Ulf are going to leave. Okay, you know the West Bridge should be fine for APG.
Yeah.
And they should be able to rotate in. The question is, do they go there? Because I don't think it's out of their wheelhouse to decide. You know what? We're going East Bridge. We're just going to go for it.
They could go East Bridge. I think if you studied the teams and you studied the circle, you studied the playing path at least on this one as well. I think you probably prefer to go West Bridge. Purely because most teams are already on the eastern side. You have Thunder Talk as well as Kara, who are controlling, maintaining Farm and Milta, which does make your life very difficult going in towards the future there, John, getting through. And it looks like completely open on the western edge. I think APG can play that edge fairly well too. DXavier haven't left Pachinki yet either.
Yeah, they are going to be a little bit slow. Ulf, very, very quick though. In the meantime, they're already past Potato Hill after starting on Ferry Pier. We're not even up to minute 5 now, and they have sent on very, very quickly. The plane path did start in that area. So let's hop back on. Oh, we're getting another one. We're getting another grudge match. It's Regnum Kaya and D+ Kia once more going in for a fight. Zedwolf steps out the door frame, immediately gets first blood, but now has to step back in. The off angle's there, and Wild's kind of on his own. Regnum Kaya split blank. They are a 2-player hold on this, and in come the cavalry. Looking to try and hold. Wild steps up top to try and stay alive, has to drop back, tries to play the cover, goes back on in, and Chips is under threat, and it's Wild stepping through. A 2-player hold against 3 from D+ Kia. This is brilliant for Regnum Kaya. They roll down Chips on the outside, and D+ Kia cannot find an entry. Now it's Nolbu, the last to stand, and Zedwolf battens down the hatches. They are able to keep themselves going. 4 players stand tall, and Alpha 7 are scrapping with Alter Ego.
Yeah, I mean, it's non-stop right now. Krypton on his lonesome inside. The flames blanketing the garage, but not a comfy finish there for Alter Ego whatsoever. Down to just 1 player now. For D+, though, welcome to the wild, wild west indeed. What a play from the inside. Really, really good stuff. And for Regnum Kaya, that's going to feel good. That's going to feel real good.
Yeah, especially after that last match. Being trapped on the outside now. They had a 2-2 split on the inside position. Brilliant, brilliant hold. Mostly, I think they were able to do that for 2 reasons. I think Zedwolf getting that first knock on the roll-up, and Chips not being there with the rest of D+ Kia on the roll-up as well. As soon as it was 2 players on the inside for D+ Kia, that was when it started to get dicey. Obviously, there's a bit of a coin flip there. I think if Chips had gone in with them, it might have been a better story.
Well, Chips is their CQC guy. That's undeniable, right? He is the one who does play forward with the team. He's the one with that firepower at close range. I think not having Chips there, you're absolutely bang on the money there, John.
Yes.
It's pretty unfortunate, especially Salting Alamo as well. You want the full team. You've got to gamble with the full team there. If you're going to crash it, which is what they do, maybe they assumed that it was free. That's a bold assumption, though.
They may have known that there were only 2 players on the inside, right? And thought, oh, we've got the numbers advantage, something like that. It just doesn't pan out. I mean, as I said before, another major contributing factor, Zedwolf getting that first knock, right, to make it a 2 versus 2. And Regnum Kaya regrouped very quickly. But now, I'm looking back at the map, they've split up again. They're going back to that 2-2 split. They're confident to go back towards that position, and nobody backfilled them.
Well, D+ already down, right? And that's the team that challenged for that position. So you're sort of certain at the moment that there is less teams in this area. So I think it should be absolutely okay for Regnum Kaya if you go for this 2-2 split. one we see multiple times from them. They're very happy to regroup whenever necessary. They have 2 strong spots to play in as well, so they're trying to confirm over towards Yas Fields as well as the center of this circle too. I think it's a reasonable approach for this one, John.
Trying to hold a lot of ground. We'll see if they are successful. That north side against Team Flash, very likely to stay stagnant. I'm looking at Ulf and wondering, they're a bit of a wild card. They may be the team to try and break that accord on the middle side. Out in the east, we're on board with the last player from Alter Ego after their conflict with Alpha 7. Rosemary definitely wanting to keep this one going. Spray down, does manage to land it. That is a big pickup for Rosemary and a nasty surprise for Alpha 7, along with the circle. A nasty surprise for everybody else in this one, going up towards the Asfield and even north of that beyond, touching Stalbot and the mountains there. Rosemary, okay, he's still going. Alpha 7, they lost one earlier. They've now lost another. They're 2 players.
Alpha 7 getting ruined there by Rosemary, final player left alive. Obscure still going on, side the buggy. But yeah, up towards the north side, a little bit awkward. Regnum Kanye should be regrouping fairly shortly over towards the south side of Yas Field. Don't really want to enter it just yet. I can't imagine this is heading over towards Stalbot, but if it does, what a circle that's going to be. Great game starting out there for DX Xavier as well. The Mad Bulls, but they do have neighbors now, right? DX Xavier and Mad Bulls potentially clashing in the near future. Huge amount of space inside of Yasnaya though, so it's a matter of time and when this is going to happen.
There's a team here right now, Blank, that has been immensely proactive and very, very fast on these rotates. That's Ulf. They started down towards very pier. They moved very quickly out of there, and they have now once again moved to a very central position on this circle to the east of Yasnaya. I think they're going to have a good time of it. And now they're able to take shots like this over towards this fight with DX Xavier.
Yeah, I mean, DX Xavier already taking a knock there is pretty rough. And it's from no other than Aaron himself. Really, really skilled player. Has had an unbelievable come up over the years. So lovely to see. Zeus also spots over towards DX Xavier, sending shots down range towards them. And although they're in the zone, they have not always fared the best.
Is the age of the DX Xavier circle over? They've only got 3 players though. Lambert already down and flushed. Let's hop back over to Mansion, because Rosemary is still alive and kicking, and maybe a very unknown quantity here to GOAT team, right? They may not suspect there is one on the inside, although he did take shots earlier, and you maybe expect that there is at least one. So perhaps being careful, but either way, not going to come into conflict just yet. I don't think Rosemary wants to over-peak, over-promise on his delivery. Alpha Gaming rotating very close to Joker, who he's just going to be real chill with it right now. He's just hanging out. And they are going to diverge. This is on the north side. R8 are also up here on that north edge. Oh, hang on a minute. Rosemary. He's popped a shot over towards Vic, and that is potentially going to land on the nade. A nice bounce, but doesn't quite get through towards the rest of it. Kraken tries to go across, and Rosemary, I mean, he's used to these solo situations. Doesn't quite get across the fence on that vault, but steps forward for the rest of it. Side angle. Rosemary making the mad dash across into the open. And he's in the building. That is dangerous. The nade there, put away, but he steps up the stairs. One flight too many, and will be put down. Rosemary will fall.
Circle over towards the western side, fully on those fields. What a grim circle this is for DX Xavier as well as Mad Bulls. Lovely start for them to work with this one. DRX also having this spot on the western side is not bad, honestly. They get to circumvent the majority of the players with sort of a hard shift over towards that western side. Most players moving in from that east. If they try and rotate and make these wide wraps down towards the south side, likely going to come into conflict with one another. So although DRX, you know, they might have to struggle a little bit to get towards the western side of Yasnaya later on, they don't have to deal with too many teams.
I think it really does rely on this next circle. They should be safe, as you're right, for now on the western side, but moving is going to be pretty dastardly. I think Vampire on the south, pretty happy. Regnum Kaya, potentially as well, on that south edge. Thunder Talk, much less smiley about things right now, because they're all the way on the east side. There's a lot of rotation that seems to be moving clockwise around this circle. That's around, down towards the south side of this one. Kara leading the charge on that and actually impacting on the south edge towards Vampire, who, okay, they're just going to give ground. So they don't want to overstay on that peak, on that angle. Kara may have a little bit of a spot on that south edge. Middle of the circle, though, I think Team Flash currently in with a big opportunity to right their wrongs.
Yeah, they've got a pretty nice spot to work with, the Team Flash, and it is always going to be this clockwise rotations purely because of where the circle is. We have half of it which is just unplayable, and you don't want to be playing on the north side of Yasnaya anyway. That's not an ideal position to be in, around the lakes, so teams just aren't going to play there. R8 may be crashing over towards APG fairly soon though, John, which will be an interesting fight because as we've seen, R8 can go toe-to-toe with APG. Sadly, in that last game, they really did not have the position to work with, and that was because of APG in the first place with some really slick rotations, really good mind games going through over towards R8 towards the end of that Erangel.
Thunder Talk, I mean, this is the team behind Kara in the clockwise rotate queue. Kara able to pull up successfully. Vampire regrouped to a 2-2. And now Kara fending off Thunder Talk, who are just trying to find their way on in, but really not having success anywhere. Goat team sit ahead of them on the north. And speaking of the north, let's hop on over, because Yol now with the challenge. This is R8 and APG clashing. R8 trying to rock up to the fight, looking to try and control the angle, and Yol goes down, but the off angles bite back. 2 for 2 right now. Prestige is flushed away, and Amori now seemingly alone out in the field here, looks for the flush to top, steps up, able to find it. And maybe on the inside too, but the angles are starting to multiply here as Reefus holds down the line. Doc moves into position, but does take a lot of damage. E-Arena coming in for the third party from the east side blank. They're moving up to the north to try and take these two teams down.
Super opportunistic there coming through from E-Arena, and a necessary moment to go for it too. If they can clear out both teams, oh my god, they have so much space to work with on this side of the map.
Oh.
But that requires E-Arena to make this play. So far, it's mainly R8 and APG who are taking the shots at one another. E-Arena seems to be just watching, observing, like this is a cage fight.
Amori goes down, now 2 players on the inside for R8. They need to try and hold strong. They just squeaked out the circle on the next shift here, and a lot of damage done. Leaves Amori out, but Doc is down as well. And that's Ulf chiming in from a really central position now. In the meantime, by the way, on our picture-in-picture, DXavier sent all the way out really fast from Yasnaya to crash into that location. We'll see if they're able to survive on it, because Team Flash are putting them under pressure. R8, though, they are still surviving here. And APG, very much not so.
Yeah, weird. This is a weird play that E-Arena makes here. I think it is sort of a lack of confidence from them almost to not just fully invest onto this. R8 allowed to get 2 players in a buggy. Basically, at the start position, DRX chasing down 1 player from APG. But we do need to talk about the circle a little bit. As things start to pop off on the map. Quick barrel roll, but not enough. Evasive maneuvers do not work. But yeah, moving over towards the eastern side now. Much more playable. Still a little bit awkward, but you'd much rather be here than in the fields of Yaz.
Absolutely. I think, to be honest, at the moment, though, Thunder Talk will take what they can get, because they are getting lit up. The east side obscure for Alpha 7, the last player to survive after a tussle with Rosemary, and the rest as well. And Thunder Talk and Goat team coming into conflict. I don't think that Obscure is going to last too much longer. It depends if Goat team try and take shots up towards him or try and put pressure out that way, but Thunder Talk, I don't think they're going to be able to escape this blue zone. May just succumb to it as AJ is flushed away. Obscure down as well. King now the last to stand for Thunder Talk on the east side. Alpha 7 down in 13th place.
Yeah, not a amazing game from Alpha 7. They do get 5 elims though, and that's fine for now, at least. With DXavier, the only other team towards the top of the lobby, still standing. It will keep them in contention. Thunder Talk though, our PEL team, struggling.
Ooh, Lewis with a long drop there. Trying to get some backup sent on in. Regnum Kaya not really able to find the opening shots, but Marceau goes down. That is a brilliant drop coming through from Loxy. Now Wild and Loxy on the inside with Lewis bearing down. It's handled. Business as usual for Regnum Kaya. Not a knock sent their way. They're up to 7 elims now, Blank, and this is a much better game. Playing from the Heaven compound, it's worked out.
Yeah, real anticlimactic there for Kara.
Yeah.
Lewis flying over the top, misses the roof by a mile. And Regnum Kaya shuts them down in 2 seconds. Go rocking up though, and because Regnum Kai was forced to move off position, couldn't hold both these buildings at the same time. Twix has a nade. Zedwolf very close by with one of his own, but doesn't quite have the tag on just yet. Doesn't have the bead, the marker. Oh, okay, okay.
I wonder if they think they checked that angle with that nade. That could be dangerous. They should hear the pin pull here. Zedwolf knows that Twix is stepping there, and there's a rock up. There's a third party coming through from Vampire. This is going to crash into the back of GOAT team, so they cannot go for this engagement. Vampire playing in the foothills, but this is only 2 of them, and Vampire actually going to probably turn around off this shift flank because it's hard back towards Yasnaya.
At least you have information, because the circle moves north, and it's again now a pretty nasty circle. For DXavier, they're quite happy with the position they hold, but for the Flash, this is a very much winning position for them. Absolutely winning position. You have clear sight lines over towards that eastern side as teams start to approach towards you. They really only need to deal with mad balls, and mad balls have to leapfrog a lot of buildings to get here, which gives plenty of time for Flash to dig them out of those trenches as they try and wade through.
I think Vampire's going to be pretty pivotal in how successful Mad Bull's going to be. Potentially Arena on this north side as well. From that shack, they have a lot of sight lines, but they do need to take it first, and it's not going down without a fight. 2 players fall on the inside. Marth cleaning house, not quite. Mormon able to step on in when his team needs him the most. They're dropping the smokes now, and they need to try and live this one out. But the north side, again, for Arena, if they can clean this out, great news.
NC2, me, blocking my smoke.
Oh no, catches the heel there, not friendly, not nice. Catch for Ulf, did flex all the way out to the east side. Vampire still taking a lot of damage, but it's actually Silas who chimes in for another knock towards GOAT team. There is an answer though. Oh, he's flushed away. Okay, hang on a minute. Kaya losing players. They've actually, okay, they moved ahead. I was wondering, why are they taking shots from that back? Don't they need to get a move on? But no, they already did. But they have moved in with 3. That should be fairly successful here.
But Magnum Kaya, they are at 3 still, so they're not doing terribly. Wild is down again. That's a 2v4 versus Vampire, and you start to believe that it's gonna be rough now for Regnum Kaya. Already had a fairly decent game though with the 7 elims they were able to get. Zedwolf just peppered at the moment. I think for Regnum Kaya likely they go down soon, but I think they'll be quite pleased with this match so far anyway.
Zedwolf
Could go better.
1. Oh, he's traded. Killer Joe there. Loxy tries to move in to save his teammate, but he's flushed away very, very quickly. The roll down not going to quite connect. Catches on a mission, on a wide angle. The off angles are there, and Vampire now trying to stop this fight dead in its tracks. 2 players still for Regnum Kaya. Go up in smoke. GOAT soon to follow. Divided and conquered by both Vampire and Ulf. The flex outs working wonders.
Tony K, what a player this guy is. Has always had a huge amount of talent and is now looking to prove it here at PMGC. Catch goes down to Meowlag. And Ulf realizes maybe they bit off more than they could chew here versus Vampire.
You don't want to get into a chewing contest with a Vampire. That's just a terrible idea. All things considered, there are far better things to be going for. Although Wolves, pretty good chewing themselves. An age-old rivalry. We'll have to wait and see how that one's going to come on through.
They choked on their group stage.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's fair. Vampire didn't even play a group stage. Shift into Flash's favor. How many points do they have, though? 0. They've got no elims right now, blank. And it is very much one of those late game, not gambles, but investments, right? It's a late game investment for Team Flash. They have put a lot of, well, they have a lot of presence on this East Point, as you were highlighting earlier. We'll see if they can maintain against some incredibly strong teams here. Going to look to try and take it from them.
It's still a weird circle in the sense that wherever it goes next does change the way the game plays, right? There's multiple circles in the past where no matter really what it does, there's still one team that has that really strong spot. For the Flash, though, if it starts moving out towards the north side, they start to have a difficult game. It's tough decisions ahead of them. Lovely shot on Aaron, though. On the moving vehicle. Luckily, Solus is there to find Turney.
And that was 3 players in the same vehicle, just getting sprayed down. Scarface, a complete broadside on that rotate. So just Joker remaining for Arena. I thought maybe, but no. They weren't the ones to save me. Not this time.
Ulf is ahead of them here. I think for Joker, he's not long for this world. They also have sightlines on him, right? They already took tags over towards this guy, so I'm pretty sure they know where he's playing. Ooh. Vampire make their way up, though, towards Flash. Flash have to remove these players.
Yeah, the window shot's not quite landing on towards Vampire on their approach. And already found an opening. This is not good news for Team Flash. Not many placement points if they go down here and now. That is not ideal. Joker trying to make his open dash. Zeus will be getting rest in the meantime. I think Mad Bulls need to think about moving now. Think about moving in towards the position of Team Flash. Maybe move a little bit further south. Get across that road potentially. We'll have to wait and see what they go for. Ulf also marshalling their forces. After losing Ketch, they're playing as 3, but they've got this hillside.
You're concerned with the next circle, though. I think for Mad Bulls, they don't want to cross this road, because what happens if this moves north? What happens if this moves down towards the southwest? There is a lot of changes that can happen here, where then suddenly Mad Bulls have a prime position. Sadly, that is just the case right now. So teams can't make these rash decisions too early. For Ulf, they're likely just going to hold on the eastern side as well, because you'd have to wait for stage 7, stage 8 to truly understand what kind of rotates you need to make.
Come on, Team Flash. Let's start getting some elims here. It's about time. They really need to earn these points. And getting a chicken dinner here. Pretty solid stuff, if you can find it. Vampire, though, they have been very effective on that south edge. Ulf going for the crash. Okay, they're rolling in from the east side over towards DXavier. A lot of damage. No damage from the fire. Solus is next to fall, though, and DXavier with 2 hold out the first wave from the east side. Just Scarface now remains. A little bit of a lackluster roll up there coming on through. Over towards the DXavier corner. It's going to Flash, though, with the circle. Blank. I mean, they have to get points on this. They have to get more.
You've got to translate this game. And if you don't, then life gets real difficult. Especially being in 16th place right now, this has to be the game that Flash really gets things back under control. If you can't win this match, you are starting to look a little bit scared for the Flash, because this is very much a winnable game. And with Vampire, who, like we said before, didn't play any of the stages of PMGC, they are our invite team. To go down to this squad, that would be a little bit unfortunate, no?
I think so. I think so. Ground floor now, though. Under pressure, the Mad Bulls make the dash. Team Flash give ground. I don't think this is a terrible idea. You can't hold this with Vampire being in the wings, right? You cannot go for that fight with Vampire in such close quarters. They're already nading out your positions. They will third-party you at a moment's notice. It's going to be a 3-way fight, I think, for this one. I think it's safe to say this fight is going to be our final 3.
Yeah, for DXavier getting in from this northeast side, very difficult.
Oh,
Scarface will try and put those long-range antics to good use for himself. But more likely looking for the top 3 here. Try and live things through as long as possible. You can see what kind of open ground he's crawling into. It's likely one of these players will spot him at some point in the near future.
This 3-way standoff, I think, kind of helps Team Flash survive, but does slow them down. I saw an explosive bow. I just saw an explosive bow. I didn't realize we'd invited Sook. What's going on? He's not supposed to have
lives on.
qualified.
The legacy lives on.
Oh, it's there. In Team Flash's hands.
I mean, it's good. It's definitely good for clearing out these types of windows. So I don't mind it. I really don't mind it.
Outside. They find their first point. Blank. That is good news. All right, they're off the mark. Surely now they get the rest of them too. At the moment, there are 10 more eliminations that they could possibly find in this lobby. Getting 11 would be great. I think getting 6 and a chicken dinner for them at the moment would be a good result.
See how Vampire handle this late game. See how DXavier attempts to remove himself from this position, but I'm pretty sure Flash, Mad Bulls, they'll all be looking their way.
I think you deny here for DXavier. I think this is a deny situation. Maybe you send one in, try to have a weird third party, but I think you just deny the points.
It's getting to the wall, right? But again, there's so many angles looking at them that it's very unlikely. They have to be so aware when these angles change that they can make this move. But as time has progressed, as time has moved on, this is now what they know to be one of the only viable spots remaining that is about to be out of zone.
You know what? This is an explosive bow angle. Overwatch, wait, DXAV are going for it. I thought they were going to hide in the shack and wait for the blue zones to envelop. Team Flash take some shots, but no.
If they get to the wall, it's fine.
Okay,
It's a question of getting to that wall, though.
The smokes are there, and there are two really difficult angles for them to deal with. They've blocked off that high ground from Adbull so far. Pathogen still have the cover. They haven't breached that one just yet. The back smoke's fading, though. And they will start to run out of util here. They are investing all the smokes they have. Levi's gets across, just about hitting the deck. Is he safe from the Adbulls? No, not quite. The Molotov's over as well. And Levi's is there. Lazarus steps out, and everybody wants a piece of the pie. Levi's goes down, and the point is earned. Oh, that's by Mad Bulls.
That's PMGC remaining. Crawling against the wall. The tiny gap, and he gets shot through it.
Oh, dear. Oh, Bose finds the ankle. Pusher steps up very, very high there. Bit dangerous to step all the way up, because you do still have Vampire to worry about. I think if Pusher gets too bold here, could be disastrous. Paragin getting... Okay, yeah, surely... Well, surely not. Paragin across?
He stutter steps.
There it is.
He stutter steps it. That's actually very cool. And the nade does not make it far enough. The stutter step was crazy, because he runs out, stops it early, and if you're tracking that via gyro, that really ruins your whole spray.
He's across, you said. If they jump to the wall, it's dangerous, but there's only one of him. Surely he can't do that much, but a knock over towards Team Flash. I mean, the blue zone's going to push everyone in. Blank, this is the final zone. Our last three teams. Top can't connect on the spray. Paragin evading these bullets. Another nade is getting cooked up, but Tops is looking to pop a stim. The res is coming through in the meantime. Vampire are going to have to close down on this one. And Tops finally gets rid of the thorn in their side. 4 players now on every remaining team. Another point added to the tally for Team Flash, but only 2 so far. They need more.
Vampire looking for this chicken dinner. It's an awkward position to play. They are lacking the high ground. We're in stage 9. We're about to close all the way dead center. And no one really has advantage here, because no one wants to play in the courtyard.
Ooh.
Great nade from Flip, though, to start things off.
That should be a flush, nice and easy, but another knock goes over towards Vampire. Nyala goes down. That should be reasonable, but the blue zone's putting a lot of pressure on. Vampire trying to dash across. Zeus trying to track through the smoke, but a little, again, a stutter step coming through. Lemon moves out in the meantime. Now he's up close and personal. Nade still in the pocket for Vampire, though, but a lovely lineup from Zeus to find another onto Vampire. Mad Bulls, the only team now with 4 players alive. 2 elims on side. The Mad Bulls will be denied entry. Nobody now healthy. Pusher moving forwards. Team Flash starting to lose players. Wind drops down in the off angle there and is the last player to go. And he will go up in smoke. A low elim game and Team Flash denied.
God.
Vampire now burning in the sunlight under pressure. But 4 players alive, just about dodging it. A bounce on the nade and 2 Mad Bulls now. Look at a charge through the Vampire. On the off angle though, there is nothing to do. Oh no, it's self-nade. Disaster strikes and Lazarus with a bad bounce. Steps up, a challenge, 2v2. Nyola now needs to come up big. Goes for 1, goes for 2, no! How on earth do they let that go? Vampire on their home ground fall to a self-nade. Lazarus, what are you gonna do? And a miraculous turnaround for the Mad Bulls.
Actually, diabolical moves towards the end there. That nade ruins everything. But I will say one thing. The Molotov sent through the window. It got sent through the back window, through the side window, onto the shack. That was really, really well played from Mad Bull. Super good knowledge of everything in that area in terms of terrain, in terms of building geometry. Gorgeous. I mean, they were helped along slightly. And then I also really wish that Meowlag came out of the shack a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that could have gone either way. The 2-player lineup with an auto shotty, you can make it happen. It does exist, right? But they were on the snap and they were able to find that shutdown. But yeah, a big misplay there for Vampire. Give that one away. Team Flash, they cannot make it either. We're going to be heading back to the desk. They're hopefully going to have some insight into how that match happened.
Are you kidding me? The biggest upset so far in the finals. Mad Bulls pull out the chicken dinner.
I'd go even further. Are you flipping kidding me right now? Flip with the roof angle right into Hospital to the eastern side of Yasnaya Polyana, using the angle to the absolute limit. And that Molotov in particular disrupts the entire setup of Vampire, and they had to go back and try and heal up, which enables Mad Bulls to go down the building, over that little wall, and actually start to compete against Vampire for that win, and they snatch it away at the very end of that match.
I mean, the timing that Mad Bulls was able to take over control from Police Station from Team Flash was just perfect, and here at the end, making sure that they win those fights. This squad ends up with 13 eliminations. Ooh. And it's not even from the player that we're used to seeing, Max. It's not from Lemon. Everybody else starting to show up. Tulika right there with 3. You got Pusher with 5. Flip with 5 as well. But I got to go back to this squad. Making sure that they assert their dominance in Police Station. Making sure that Team Flash backs off. And it was the winning play for them.
Yeah, clearly. Also a good play from Team Flash, because like, we have these 2 really strong buildings. We can't hold the 2 buildings as a full squad. We have to relinquish one over. And I think Mad Bulls understood. They're just going to say, hey, we want to take control. They give it up. They kind of work together. A symbiotic relationship, right, between Team Flash and also Mad Bulls. And it works out beautifully for them. So Mad Bulls, again, keeping up that momentum they built up during the league stage.
And to be honest, I want to see Team Flash be a little bit more assertive or their dominance. They shouldn't have given up that one. And I got to go back. I'm going to have to rip this team apart this early on, because they were able to allow Vampire Esports to crash without losing any players. And for the longest time, now you're having to worry about what's going to be happening, right? Which gave the opening to Mad Bulls to end up overtaking Police Station. You gotta be able to make sure you defend a building, Team Flash, early on in that match. You cannot just be conceding those buildings over and over again to these top teams, or you're gonna end up like this. If they would have stayed in Police Station, guess what? We would have been talking about Team Flash getting the win.
Yeah, it could have been Team Flash to take the win, but unfortunately that was not the case. We know what was the case. Regnum Karia fighting T+ once again. It keeps happening. They have a vendetta right now after they're like, no island finish can save you this time around in 2025. It's been looking good in the early stage, but man, late game, so many wide rotations. We saw RA go for it, trying to go for this fight, but APG, at one point, Dog was going to split.
Yes.
And the fight breaks out 7, and he instantly regroups. They don't win the fight, but it's good to see that he's willing to fight with a team in close quarters.
Hold on, Max. Repeat that for me. What did Doc do?
He regrouped with his team.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe those words are coming out of your mouth, considering how many times we have talked about Doc just being a solo player for the squad. I mean, APG, finally, here in the grand finals, at least after 3 matches, even though things don't end up going their way there in this last match, it's good to see that they're starting to readjust to those little mistakes. And one thing that even after ripping Team Flash apart, I gotta give them some props. This team, from what I saw in this game, is much better at pushing the action than defending the action. If you find them in a spot where they're able to defend it, they're gonna give away that round, but there at the end, when we saw them being a little bit more proactive, they were able to get some knocks.
Yeah, I do like how they're willing to give positions away if needed, so there's not going to be too big an issue. But here we go, looking at the wide rotations. We had Regnum going for their very clear rotation, and so will Vampire, that are renowned around the world as a very slow edge-focused team when it comes to their rotations. And here in particular, the circle going up north, they just go control Alamo, have an initial 2-2 split, and then you're going to see here this play is very good because you have Kara fighting Regnum, and then go into Heaven South, and they see that like, well, we can just leapfrog that and take that position. Vampire, they are so smart. They know how the lobby responds to certain situations and certain circles, and they are able to take the position to kind of bully the other teams into submission.
I mean, talking about Vampire, I wanted to see what they were going to be able to do here within the first 3 matches. If it was a team that was going to end up contesting for that championship, even though they didn't get anything done in regards to league stage, they weren't able to play because they were that special invite. For them, I am super impressed with the way they've been able to work out. I mean, you see right there, Mad Bulls with 23 total points, Vampire with 7 eliminations. Props to them for deciding to back off with the fight. I think it was against GOAT, and GOAT ends up crashing on Regnum Karia and just asserting. As soon as they noticed that, Vampire was like, you know what? Tony K, get a little bit closer, start sending some nades.
It's good to say also that normally as a Primorsk team, this is a circle that's very far away. We're like, okay, well, Military Island, the previous game, they're very close, easy rotation. Almost on the complete opposite side of Erangel this game, right near Yasnaya, and they have a very good rotation. The slow rotates on moves like that are very appreciated for Vampire, and I feel like Vampire, for a team that did not play the league stage, right, we have to keep that in mind, are looking so damn ready. The amount of homework they should have done behind the scenes for these finals, the prep was done, Hodgix, and so far it's been performing exactly as planned.
Yeah, the work has been done for sure. I mean, the zone timing, the shifts, these teams are on point here. You know, and speaking of, we're talking about zone shift, what about utility usage this game, right? That pre-molly was insane, Max.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Ulf should have sent the full squad on that position personally, but yeah, Xavier, we know we're getting crashed maybe 5 to 10 seconds ahead of time. We Molotov the window and also the door frame on the east, meaning there's only one entry point, and if you come up, guess what? Instant shotgun to the face! And that worked out greatly, and Ulf, unfortunately, as we saw, could not deal with that Molotov. It was too well positioned.
Yeah, it was way too well positioned. And then talking about more utility, one of the crashes that ended up happening with Vampire Esports getting closer to the squad, I mean, they started throwing those Molotovs towards Team Flash, making sure that they weren't going to be getting any of those angles towards the window. As well, we saw nades. At one point, we even saw Vampire getting a knock on one of the players. They weren't going to overcommit, but that utility usage right now, very, very good from this squad.
Actually, when you were talking about Flash, you wanted them to eliminate Vampire upon entry point, which I understand.
Yes.
But I feel like Flash wanted to fight Vampire, but because those buildings have so little amount of windows, like, we want to fight you, but we can't because of the building and how it's built up. It's just not quite possible. So like, okay, you know what? Best of both worlds. We're just going to coexist together for the time being. They wanted to, but this situation, what can you really achieve?
I didn't want them to commit.
Oh,
I just wanted them to make sure they got at least 1 or 2 eliminations with Vampire coming in, because they didn't have anybody else getting an off angle. Sometimes we end up seeing those teams make that push, leaving 1 player behind. That was not the case for Vampire. Vampire full push with the squad. They had 1 solo, another solo, and 2 in a vehicle, and it worked out for them. And I mean, the utility that I just mentioned is honestly what gave Vampire that 2nd place finish.
Hey, crazy plays from teams, crazy utility usage, but also some insane plays from a single player. Can we talk about Peregrine right there towards the end? Para Jin, making it happen, Max.
Para Jin! Very happy about it. No, genuinely, how does he make it so far?
Dude, that was wild.
Who was he going up against?
It was going against, who was it? It was Flash,
Team
right?
Flash, yeah,
it was
exactly.
Flash.
Once again, Flash.
Yeah.
Just letting teams get too close to you. Come on, Flash.
Ooh, Flip MVP of the game, and we were expected it. Actually, I'm really happy they used that roof angle on Hospital to the east of Yasnaya as long as they possibly could. He had to jump off eventually, right? Because, well, Blue Zone will not let you stay in that position for too long. But he's like, okay, at least even if I can't get the elims, I'm still going to get information of where the players are positioned, and I can kind of direct my team in the perfect entry point in that circle. They do win it off the back of that. So that information gain from Flip and also the frags, like the 5 elims, were so impactful for them to make sure they got that chicken dinner.
I agree 100%. I think that was the reason why they won that match. Just be able to have a good idea of where Vampire is, where Flash is. They put in that work there towards the end. We take a look at the leaderboard, 7, and we definitely got some shakeups.
I mean, we still got APG right there at the top. Look at the top 3. DX now Mad Bulls with that performance pushes up Vampire in 4th place. Something I want to keep an eye out on, though. I want to go all the way to the bottom. You're defending champions of PMGC, 2024 champions. D plus Kia, so far, they've only been able to put up 5 points coming through eliminations, and guess who's stopping them? Yeah, that's right, the 2nd place team, Regnum Karia.
Oh, that's right. 2nd place. Oh, yeah, from last year.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, they're not.
No, from last year.
No, but is this a targeted attack, right? Are they like, we know they rotate, we know they drop, we've done the research. Is this a vendetta for real? I don't know. It could be.
I just saw Silas. He winked at me. He winked at me. That's crazy. But you know what? We got a quick break, guys. We'll be right back.
shout, it shatters the silence in the morning. Call your name, I see the doubt. We're falling too fast without a warning. But if you stay, you'll battle by my side. You'll never ever win the day. No matter what they say, this mission ain't broken. Don't take what is spoken. Our path ahead is still unknown. This battle ain't over. Let's walk through the fire. Wash out our fear, fight to the end. Here we go again. The scars are still fresh, but we will overcome the pain. The lights will never fade. This mission ain't broken. Don't take what is spoken. Our path ahead is still unknown. This battle ain't over. Let's walk through the fire. Wash out our fear, fight to the end. I never will hide from choices that we have made. I never will lie, forget the rules we're breaking through. Can we fight till the end? I will carry you. Never abandon you. Fight until the end with you.
And we're back, getting ready for the final day, the final Aerogale of day number 1, right? Let's get it going. So, Max, you know, we were just talking a little bit about Regnum Karya, right? What did you really like seeing from them in the last match?
I love how they died in that. No. Generally, I like how they played Heaven because Heaven was getting a little bit busy.
Yep.
There was Kara, they push up, they defend it. Then Goat Team tried to go for a push ahead of them, which
Yep.
that was a very good play from Goat Team. And Vampire trying to get involved in that conversation. Most teams, I feel like, would just be like, let's wait for the fight to break out and third party it. But in that case, move ahead. Really smart play from Regnum.
Yes, well, of course, we got to go give some big love to the Infinix GT30 series, the official gaming phone for 2025 PMGC. Engineered for precision, performance, and victory. Go get your hands on one so you can outplay the rest. Also, guys, we got to make sure you get your predictions in, right? Day number 1 is almost over, right? So you got a little bit of an extra advantage here. You got some info, right? So hopefully you can go ahead and get some of these sick rewards, Max.
I got all my rewards already.
Really?
Even though my predictions were terrible, I still got enough points. I got everything. I
Nice.
got everything wrong. So if I do it, you can do it because we all know my prediction game is very bad.
Yeah, I mean, who is it that you have right now with DRX? It's still early on.
Shut up, stop, shush,
Okay.
drop it.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the top 4 gunslingers here, 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking honestly. Regnum, Wild. This has been quite a performance, not just from Wild. One of the players that's not even here too, Luxy.
Yes.
They've been performing so well in Team Flash. I gotta give him some props too. Seals right there, 557 damage.
Yeah, I really like actually talking about Regnum Karya.
Yes.
To go a little bit deeper on this team. You're talking about Loxy. I feel like Loxy is the clutch guy.
Yes.
Like you give him a 1v4, 1v3, he's like, that's impossible. But I am Loxy. And he does, and he performs really well. Wild is like the consistent performer for this team, always putting up numbers, securing really strong positions. He's the guy that every situation thrown his way, he's going to get consistent results on board. And even with Z-Wolf, we even haven't talked about him. In the background, he's also putting up numbers. And Silas is putting these guys in the best position imaginable. With this entire squad, The synergy of this team is looking amazing here at PMGC.
Would you agree with me on this, Max, in regards to saying that Loxy, this feels like just a breakout performance for him in regards to as a solo player?
Yes.
It honestly does, right? Winning those fights, making sure he clutches up for the team. I'm happy with that we're continuing to see this out of Loxy. I want to see Regnum Karya start securing some more of those placement points. I want to see if they can get themselves with 4 players alive into a top 4 situation.
Maybe by stopping the fights with D+, and keeping all your team alive.
But they win in those.
They do win those, but it's like, maybe prioritize positions. They'd be like, most of the time
Yep.
they do win them without losing a player, but so far it's been looking really good for Regnum Karya. I do think maybe pushing Ulf instead of just going for the dip north would have been a better rotational path
Makes
for
sense.
them, just to be hypercritical. But I still feel like the idea in general was very, very smart from Regnum.
By the way, from Mad Bulls, even though he wasn't there on the top slingers, something that they end up working out great for their squad was Lemon. Lemon was very important in this last match. He was the last one scouting. He was the last one getting that information on Team Flash, and ultimately that scouting led them to a winning play and crushing and making sure that they made back off when it came down to Team Flash.
Well, we're getting into the second half of day 1, guys, right? Bottom 5 teams. Which team do you want to see make something happen right here in this game, Max?
Thunder Talk.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what? After their insane performance during the league stage, where the hell is Thunder Talk? Where is Sitting Seven? He was popping off. He's doing nothing so far.
He was getting eliminated by Alter Ego in the
Oh,
first
he was busy
area.
doing that. True.
That's all I can tell you. Now, I'm going to be looking at D+ Kia. Come on, the defending champions, 5 points. I said it earlier, all those 5 points coming from eliminations. I want to see more out of them. And from Team Flash, please hold down our compound this next Aaron Gill.
Hold it down. Here we go. The last Erangel of day number 1. Let's get this started and head on over to our casters, John Allen and Blake.
We've got another edition of the Grassy Pastures. Let's get stuck right on in.